Hey everybody, Eric Anthony here. What we're going to talk about in this episode of Tips and Tricks is how to edit and delete multiple checks, that's bulk editing of checks, in your SolarWinds MSP RMM dashboard. So here we go. All right, so let's delete some checks. Let's bulk delete some checks. Now, it's not uncommon when you deploy new devices and you've pushed MAV, or Managed Antivirus, out to those devices, that RMM leaves the update checks for Windows Defender, both anti-spyware and antivirus. Because by default, SolarWinds does not remove those checks, just to make sure you're aware that either they were removed, they're not working, or something else superseded them. So it is by design that they stay in there, and it's very easy after you've onboarded a client with just a couple of clicks to go ahead and delete these checks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on one of those two checks, and I'm going to say delete checks like this. When I do that, it's going to give me a screen, and it's going to show me all the devices that have any antivirus update checks. So right up here where it says antivirus update check, it's going to show me all of them. So this is an important note, because if I had a client that was using another third-party antivirus and I didn't want to delete those checks, that product would be listed here. And what I would want to do instead is I would want to go ahead and click here and filter and just say something like Windows Defender. And that would filter it down to just all of the AV products that said Windows Defender. Okay, so real easy. I can also go over here and I can filter by servers and workstations, just like you can in policies. And I can do client and site as well. So there, you could see it change when I selected one site before I selected the other, because that site has a couple of devices in it. So this is what I want to do. I want to delete all of these off of this one client. Okay, so I'm going to select all those devices, and then I'm simply going to say delete selected. Now, of course, I have to put my password in. And you'll see it just deleted those checks off of that device. And if I go to that client and I scroll down through any of these devices, you'll see that I do not have the virus update check, or the antivirus update check, for Windows Defender on any of these devices anymore. Now, we can do the same thing with editing a check. So say I want to go and set all of the drive space checks across all of my devices. So I would just right click, and this time, instead of delete checks like this, I'm going to choose edit checks like this. And now I'm presented with almost identically the same window. Now, let's say in this case, I only want to change the thresholds on drive C. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come here to drive letter, and I'm going to go to filters, and I'm just going to put in C:. And as you can see, it's already filtered the list for me. I'm going to go ahead and say I just want to do workstations, and so you'll see it took that server off. And these are all different thresholds. And some of these are done by percent, some of them are done by gigabytes. Maybe I don't want to mess with the ones where I've already set it to a gigabyte, because that shows that I've already kind of customized it. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to filter it to percent, and I'm going to change all of these to, let's just say I'm going to change them to 35%. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select all of them again. And of course, if there was one on here that I wanted to leave off, like this laptop 01, I could go ahead and uncheck it as well. And then I'll hit edit selected. And I'm just going to go ahead and change this. And I'm going to change all of these to 100 gigabytes instead of a percentage, because I like doing it by gigabytes instead. So I'm going to change all of the disk space checks on disk C to 100 gigabytes for the ones that were previously set for percentage. Click OK. Now, one of the things I didn't show you when we were deleting checks is this little summary page. Now, this is great to make sure that you're not affecting servers when you didn't mean to, or workstations when you didn't mean to, because it shows you the quantities. You should also probably have an idea of how many servers and workstations you are trying to affect, so you can check your numbers there. And it also shows you how many clients and how many sites that you will be affecting. So if you were only meaning to affect one client and it says 2, you know that you filtered something wrong or you didn't set a checkbox correctly or something like that. So then we just say OK. And now if we were to go to any of those devices, like let's see here. Let's find that HP laptop 01 and find the drive space check for C. There it is. Oh, and here it's in the process of changing them, and that device is offline, so it won't update them right now. But if I go and I right click and I edit this check for this single device, you'll see that it took on that threshold. So that's all there is to bulk deleting and bulk editing checks. It's very easy to go in and across individual clients, individual sites, or even, a whole bunch of them. And especially using those filters is very powerful to just narrowing down to the check that you want to edit or delete. Now, the one thing I didn't talk about in the title of this presentation was that you can also do the same thing with adding checks. So I'm going to show you that really quick as well. You can click on Add Check, and you can add any check you want. I'll go back to the antivirus update check. And when I do that, I'll get the screen to add the check. But if I want to do it for multiple devices, I'll simply go to Multiple Devices and choose the client or site that I want to add them to. Click Add New, and then I can simply select the check I want to add. So it's very easy to bulk add checks to an individual client or site, or across all of your workstations or servers at one time. It really doesn't matter, but it does make it very easy to apply a single check across lots of devices. Now, I won't go into it deeply, but I will say that if you want to kind of standardize across some of your clients, customize checks, that's what you're going to want to do in the monitoring templates. And in here, you can come in and create custom templates of checks and automated tasks that you can create and then deploy across clients' devices, whether it be servers or workstations. Really great for standardizing across clients or even just within a client. And then you can go one step further with those and set them for new device installations. So you can have it automatically apply a particular template to a particular client. So I can just come in here and say on, and I can tell it I want it to apply this particular template every time I install a new device into this client or site. Makes it super simple to standardize. Okay, well, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully that will help make things much more efficient for you in the future when you're trying to manage the checks across all of your devices. Thanks for watching.